हरे कृष्ण। श्री श्री राधा माधव अष्ट सखी की जय। पंचतत्व भगवान की जय। प्रहलाद नरसिंह देव भगवान की जय। गौर निताय की जय। Hare Krishna, very, very warm welcome to everybody for this morning's Japa Yajna. Firstly, on behalf of my leaders, I thank each and every Japa lead who came in and performed their nice service. As always, we move on to the next part of the morning, which is the short Bhagavatam class. So we shall start with a short Kirtan. जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दन भजनरञ्जन यमुनतीरावनचारि हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे जयो गंधर्विक गिरिधारी गंधर्विक गिरिधारी गौर हरि जयो लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जयो अनंत लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जयो अनंत देव नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायण नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी। Reading from Canto 2, Chapter 4, titled The Process of Creation. Today we are reading verse 8. The verse goes like this: Nunam Bhagavato Brahman Harer Adbhuta Karmanaha Durvibhavyam Ivabhati Kavibhische Chapi Chetitam. Nunam Bhagavato Brahman Harer Adbhuta Karmanaha Dur- Durvibhya Durvibhavyam Ivabhati Kavibhischapi Chetitam. Translation purport. Word to word meaning, translation purport. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O learned Brahmana, the transcendental activities of the Lord are wonderful and they appear inconceivable because even great endeavors by many learned scholars have still proved insufficient for understanding them. I read it again. O learned Brahmana, the transcendental activities of the Lord are wonderful and they appear inconceivable because even great endeavors by many learned scholars still proved insufficient for understanding them. Uh, the purport is more than 2 pages. I'll read as and when we go through the class. Before that, tell my prayers. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपगदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितां च He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dhinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे ओम विष्णु पदाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेष पाश्चात देश धारिणी Hare Krishna. Before I even start, I thank all the leaders for giving me an opportunity to purify myself. I see this as just an opportunity to purify myself, and I'll try and explain within my understanding whatever I've understood from this verse. Hare Krishna. So let's read the verse again and then go to the yes verse. Nunam bhagavato ब्राह्मण हरेर अद्भुत कर्मणः दुर्विभाव्यम इव भाति कविभिश्च विचेतितम्. So we had was Mayur Prabhu, okay, explaining so wonderfully. He gave nice explanation, nice presentation. He set the context because we had a small gap. Set the context where we are in second canto. Very quick summary. Suta Goswami explains how Parikshit Maharaj was concentrating the mind on Krishna. Then he detached himself from the material things and started the re-inquiries. So he first acknowledged the speaker. Your words are enlightening. Then he asked the question of how does the Lord create? How does he maintain? How does he destroy? And how does he do the enacting the primary and secondary creations? So in this verse today, right? Today we are going to we'll try and focus on why the Lord's activities are called wonderful and inconceivable, right? So last class we heard that uh, Lord does not get exhausted by doing all this creation and maintenance, right? He does it effortlessly. In fact, it's mentioned that again maintaining and again winding up the phenomenal world is done in a sporting spirit. Last verse, right? It was phenomenal world in a sporting spirit of a player, right? So not only did we learn that the Lord is doing this in a sporting spirit, the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Engineer, right? He uses a word, the Supreme Engineer being Krida himself, allows secondary creators, that is Kridayam, that is granting permission for others to play, right? So the beautiful example was father allowing the children to play, right? We need to understand here that the Lord is empowering his trusted expansions or devatas like Brahma to play their specific roles as secondary creators. So Prabhujis and Matajis, in this particular verse, Prabhupada starts the purport by saying the acts of Supreme Lord in the creation of just this one universe appear inconceivably wonderful, and there are innumerable universes, and all of them aggregated together known as created material world. Right? So if this is just a fraction of the complete creation, right? Maintenance, winding up, all this is only for this material world. And the other three-fourth portion, he calls it Vaikunta Jagat or spiritual world, described in the Bhagavad Gita as Mat Dhamma or Sanatana Dhamma. It is eternal, which means that if it has to be annihilated, it cannot be called eternal. Prabhupada writes, right? So beautiful it is. Now, Parikshit Maharaj is asking is how about this wonderful creation? Now, see, he's got basic knowledge. He said that's not enough. He wanted to know in detail. He's asking all this in the spirit of humility. You must understand that he's asking his guru what seems to be common knowledge, but yet it is wonderful and astounding. That's how we know the greatness of the Lord. Right? We all know in Brahma Samhita it's clearly explained, right? Advaitam Achyutam Anadi Ananta Rupam Madhyam Purana Purusham Anavayavanam Cha Vedeshtu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhakto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Majami. What is he saying? Krishna is unlimited. His faculties, features, everything is unlimited. Forget all that, the unlimited number of universes also, which means each universe has got unlimited planets. And generally, the analogy given by Prabhupada is that in a bag of mustard, can anyone know how many mustard seeds are there in the big bag? Right? Impossible for anyone to answer, right? The best answer would be unlimited, asankhya. That's the right answer because we don't know how much it is. Same way. And it is not just creation. We all know, right? Again in Brahma Samhita, Shrishti, Shrishti, Pralaya, Sada, Sadhana, Saktireva. It goes on to the I am the Vibhuti Durga, like, I do the annihilation also. So, right? So we all must have had this kind of the doubt which was, or the question which Parikshit Maharaj wanted to ask. How did all this come up? Especially all children, as children, many of our mothers must have kept us and then showing the sky and saying, we see the number of stars and generally feeding, right? This must have happened. And definitely, I always had this thing how beautifully somebody sprinkled these stars nicely. Who would have done it? I mean, that's all. I mean, nothing beyond that. I had this doubt. But we, as after becoming devotees, a very important verse will ring our mind the moment we think of Ladbhuta or think of the Supreme Lord. What does it come? First verse which comes, Janma Karma Chame Divyam. Okay? Evam yo veti athatvatah त्यक्त्वा देह punarjanman naiti mam te arjuna naiti mam eti so arjuna, which means there is a guarantee coming. If you know my activities, that is my transcendental nature of my activities, that is which is my appearance and disappearance, right? What will happen? Krishna is saying, I will ensure upon leaving this body you don't take birth in this material world. So that's why Parikshit Maharaj is asking, what is that Harer Adbhuta Karmana here in this verse? That is beyond uh, mind's inconceivability, right? So Sukadeva Goswami is explaining the inconceivable qualities of the Lord. Why all that? You just take a small material education. If you want to be an engineer, doctor, it takes years and years to pass that, right? I mean, 4 years engineering, 5 years. And after all that, there's a post-graduation degree. And once you come out of the college, you're just a normal doctor, MD. I mean, you have to become a specialist. Eye, again, couple of years, kidney, separately heart. I mean, whatever. Now we have liver, thyroid. Everybody, we were one specialist. And I am told nowadays is getting a right hand specialist, right thumb specialist, and things like that. For this limited body itself, we have so many specialists, and we still don't understand them or master them, right? Small heart is what? As big as a fist, tilted towards the left in the left side of our body. And if you ask them, they'll say we still are doing some tests. After umpteen number of tests, the doctor comes out. And I've heard some people say he is just a glorified plumber. Poor doctor, after studying so much, they just refer to him as a plumber, put a stunt, and then they say he may not live. And in my own neighbor, I know one gentleman who stayed, who lived on for years together, and he's still doing fine. A doctor had given him a couple of months or days. So, point we are trying to say is that the Lord, it is Lord who decides when this person has to leave the body based on his karma credits. So clearly, there's deficiency of knowledge which is acquired during our school and college days, which is material education. So when an engineer comes out of his education, the first thing companies says that unlearn everything. That's why Albert Einstein, I think, very, very early days, he said real education begins when you forget what you've learned in your school and college, right? This shows how insignificant, or probably here, when you say nunam, still insufficient is a word which Prabhupada is used. Insufficient material learning. It goes on to say it's not complete knowledge. Okay, material education will not give you complete knowledge, or will not give you knowledge about spirituality. Who is the creator? Who is the maintainer? Right. That's why Parikshit Maharaj is asking again these questions, which are very, very relevant. Again, in the last class, Prabhu was mentioning that Parikshit Maharaj asked questions about creation and different energies and wanted to know how great the Supreme Lord is expansion. I heard in one class that Jiva Goswami Prabhupada says that he probably, see, when Parikshit Maharaj wanted to know about Lord, he would have asked about his pastimes, right? Straight away, right? Most intimate pastimes. No. He was worried that if he starts hearing pastimes, he'll start feeling the separation. That's why he wanted to hear about his greatness, is about his creation, and then go on to hear about his wonderful form, name, and other qualities. So, see, these days we also have this new thing. We want to go into different planets. Here, Prabhupada is mentioned very clearly. There were certain professors, Russian professors. Prabhupada even mentioned dates, Boris Vorontsov and chemistry professor, and and uh, Prabhupada has mentioned about many other small things. The point is that they are talking about Mars mission, right? Very, very famous one-way ticket. If they're so sure, why can't they discuss about to and fro ticket, right? They are not, if they're confident, they are not, right? They are not aware. It's not possible because they themselves are not aware, right? I heard in one of the class that one scientist was asking another one, he brought some samosa to the laboratory and he's saying, 6 months I'm trying to understand how did this aloo get into this? In a more lighter note, I'm trying to say, how did aloo get into this samosa? The other fellow says, even I don't know, right? I am just still trying to find out how does the sweet juice get into this jalebi. I mean, this is the kind of time, people are spending to find out. And Prabhupada always used to give one wonderful analogy or of saying, how did this coconut tree, I mean, it's generally height of what, 20, 30 feet. And we have this wonderful system where the entire coconut is caged with a nice fibrous material outside. Once you kind of tear open that, there's a hard shell. Once you break that shell, there is a soft, beautiful white material, and inside that is sweetest of water. And when some scientists were trying to say, oh, this is nothing but some physics phenomena, the Prabhupada said, okay, I have a tank which is on the third floor. Use the same physics phenomena without any power. Try and get me the water, which is, pump it into the third floor, right? It's not possible, right? These scientists can, or whatever, all jnanis or empirical philosophers can come out with all this explanation, but it's impossible. And that's my favorite. I heard one scientist, I wouldn't call him a scientist, he was a behavioral expert. He had gone into the forest, basically sleeping on some trees, dirty for, I mean, it was not for, it was more than a year or something. He was inside the forest. He came out and gave this bizarre report. Animals eat only when they are hungry. They put their tail up to say that I'm no longer hungry, and they mate, and they generally do stay in groups, and something very simple, right? He didn't have to stay there for a year or so, because Shastra says ahara nidra bhaya maithunna, they only do these four things, and such a waste of time. Hence, the knowledge which we want to acquire, right, should not be from the ascending manner, it should be from the descending. What is descending order? Descending order is knowing from the Shastras, knowing from the Acharyas, right? They've already told us there are 84 lakh species available, and we don't have to go and go into the water and see whether it is this many species, whale, seahorse, everything is there. No, it's not necessary. We know, right? Many scientists, even recently, I had the report that they found some new insect or some discovery they're mentioning. It was never, it has all existed, right? We just have to accept it. How, like, very, in the recent times, all of them accepted the dung of a cow is very, very pure, whatever, right? It's antibacterial and things like that. The bone, conch is used for spiritual things. So that way, some things are very easy if you start accepting scriptures. So the ascending mentality is what? I do the research, I'll try and understanding from my own mental concoction. Right? We cannot conceive, we cannot understand even this own simple earth. We have, forget all other species, 80 lakh, 4 lakh species of human. It is so difficult to categorize them, right? We recently saw that His Holiness Bhakta Purushottam Maharaj in one wonderful small clip, he just introducing one person as a terrorist. And because it was actually, he had gone deep into Adivasi preaching, and actually he came across this wonderful person. I mean, I'm saying this wonderful because now he's become a devotee, And there was this police inspector chasing him, right, to catch him. Now, what is he doing? He's sitting and eating with him, he's sleeping with him, he's chanting with him. This is Adbhuta Karmana for all of us to see. See, where does it comes from? We've seen Adbhuta things with Krishna. Anyone who's come in contact with Krishna, immediately what we all can remember is Putana. What did Putana do? She was just a demon, came with poison. But what did Krishna say? Okay, look, I'm not going to see that. I'm going to keep that aside for some time. I'll see this as a nurse who came in to feed me. I will just take the milk. And what did he do? He just immediately gave her liberation as a nurse. Same thing, it's coming in parampara. Srila Prabhupada saw everybody who came into his first store, Kutir, right, as future leaders. He did not see their deficiencies, he did not see their faults. That is empowerment. What happened? Exactly as Prabhupada wanted. He saw them as future leaders. Despite having so many faults, they all became eventually leaders. Take, for example, Krishna. When we all know this, with Agasur, the boys went. Agasur, Krishna knew this is immediate trouble, right? This is a problem. He's not a good guy. But the boys wanted to, cowherd boys wanted to have some entertainment or whatever, what we call it as adventure. So he said, okay, let's go in. As soon as they go, they fell unconscious. Krishna had to, just by looking at them, brought them back to life, again Adbhuta, and then killed. So in Kali Yuga, that's different. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, combination of Nityananda Prabhu, they come with that and they don't really fight like aggressors. They just come and take the demonic mentality from us. Why? Simply because if you take the shelter of the holy name, that's what happened with the other devotee who now, I mean, previously was erstwhile terrorist. He just took shelter of the holy name. So in Kali Yuga, that's the advantage we have, right? We also know this wonderful island. It's not wonderful. It's actually a famous island, Sentinel Island. Down, if you go down, we have Indian Ocean, I think, Arabic Sea, right below Myanmar. There's a huge island. It's a problem. Anybody who's trying to explore that, uh, still not possible. Anybody who goes in also gets killed. And now I think it's a government order that no one should go there. So my point is, even the small this material world in this own place and so close, we still don't know. We haven't been able to explore what is in that island, right? Probably ISKCON should go and try. They will be successful, make them all devotees. So inconceivability is not just in spirituality. Even you take our body, I was explaining, after become doctors, they still don't know how the soul, or they have no idea when the person dies, right? It's believed that there are 108 nerves connecting to the brain, specific nerve, and there is one specific nerve which connects to the Brahmarandra, right? So if the soul in end of the lives remembers the Supreme Lord, we all know the famous sloka, right? And that is the only time which can get disconnected and go out of the body and does not come back to this material world, right? Because Prabhupada gives here many examples. Yanti Deve Vrata Devan, that is, if you worship demigods, you will take birth with demigods. Those kind of explanation, right? But here, how is that the soul knows that you have to catch the particular nerve, right? For the devotee. I mean, of course, there is yoga, it's all explained, but for devotee, how does it know that it has to go through higher aperture of the body and go out of this material world? It is Supreme Lord, Paramatma giving that knowledge, right? This knowledge, nobody can understand. And scientists will definitely not know. Only in spirituality, only through Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, they all, are aware of these things. How the upper chakras, lower chakras, how to get activated, all that, right? Which eventually I'm trying to say it's in the path of liberation, only a devotee comes to know. Thus, devotional activities, which is chanting of the holy name, hearing Bhagavatam, reading Bhagavad Gita, and daily, like this group, we are all coming 40, 50 devotees, and try and hear Bhagavatam every day, at least one verse. Yesterday, Premadatta Prabhu was actually saying, not just hearing, we must have clubs. We must have some kind of a groups which we, after hearing, we should say, this is what I understood. What is your understanding? That way it enters the thick skull. At least I'm talking on behalf of me. It only when I discuss and churn, it goes into. So devotional service will activate as our upper chakras. And that is the only way we can get out of the cycle of birth and death, right? So please remember, Krishna has given this intelligence not just to human beings, to every living entity, according to their body they are living in, right? Even a mosquito knows where to come and exactly bite. He knows the joints are the safest place, right? Who is directing? It is Krishna who's directing these living entities, right? The ants, for example, knows exactly where the sweets are. You try and keep a sweet, they'll somehow or the other will come and get into the sweets, right? That's because Krishna has given them the intelligence. The cats know when we should come in. When the Mataji of the house is not there, they come and drink the milk, leftover milk. So, point is, I'm trying to say it's deep science. And Prabhupada always mentioned it's science of self realization. We must appreciate the creator. We must appreciate actually Srila Prabhupada. Thank all our Gurudev. Because without which we would not know this nature is created or rather impregnated by the glance of the Lord, right? Otherwise, the previous theory which we all learned or extensively publicized is that there is a big bang. Even a child knows when there is a bang, it's destruction, not a creation, right? So, so it's by the glance that is inconceivable for many, sometimes even devotees too. But as slowly our Shraddha improves, our faith improves, and as we continue to do some service and devotional service, we are able to release, understand, and release all this. So, why we are not able to understand? Maybe because of our material attachment, unable to release these energies of the Lord, right? Thus, we must have the knowledge and understand the pastimes of the Lord. Before that, it is good to know how great, how powerful is the Supreme Lord. And then we should also understand how powerful is the subordinates, because they are all secondary creators and empowered by the Lord. That's the reason Parikshit Maharaj is asking, the transcendental activities of the Lord are, wonderful. They are inconceivable, right? And even by great learned scholar, they do not have sufficient understanding of them, right? So we see normally movies, right? Hero comes in, he does all the killing of the what you call negative characters. He does some nice romance. He helps all of the people, the needy. Everything happens, and this is for 3 hours. We come outside, we have to face the real reality. But actual heroes, Krishna. Just like this fellow is acting like hero, whereas here Krishna's actual activities itself, like actual true heroics, right? He's done everything which you see in the movie, and actually he's helping each and every soul. In the movie also they might miss, which means adbhuta karmana, right? If we start glorifying, understanding the pastimes of Krishna, then the whole and make our whole and soul of our life that we have to empower other people, then we can also get out of birth and death. So the Adbhuta Karmana is not just only those exalted devotees have seen. We have seen many. We have heard this Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj had gone once to distribute books to an university. Wanted to meet the professor of Sanskrit and things like that. Then he's understood the university was locked. So his other person was saying, let's go up. We have wasted our time. But Maharaj said, let me just visit the restroom. And when he went into the restroom, he met another person who was there. And after he finished his job, he found out that this person was the head of Sanskrit. And he not only gave him, he also ensured that in that meeting, the entire college kept that the whole set of Bhagavatam, whatever, the set of books, which means to say, this was the Adbhuta Karmana. That is, this was the magic event, magic moment, because of the desire of Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. And I had heard of another case where I think it was in Mayapur, the class was given by Ministry of Book Distribution. They were saying that he was sent into the shopping mall. Every time it's like that. They have a bus which goes and they drop a few people and their bus carries on because they can't get into the very close. So these people took their books, great difficulty, went into the mall, and then wanted to. That is a mall in the sense book fair mall. So they went and there was a big board, inventory locked. They said gone. I mean, they now have, not only the mall is closed and the bus is also gone, which means they can't even get back. These devotees did not have credit card or, unlike India, they didn't have UPI. So these people thought what to do. And then he found out that few minutes they meditated and they thought all of them are driving in, parking their car, walking all the way, and coming to the class board and reading that this mall is closed. So they are making a long walk. They said, this is the best place. They're all coming here. So they spread the books and they found out that what was a disastrous situation, immediately, thanks to Krishna, it was turned into Adbhuta, which means everybody came and the only book they could buy is Srila Prabhupada's book. How wonderful, right? So, Prabhujis and Matajis, I would like to end by saying that we have often heard these three things, Sambandha, Prayojana, Abhidaya, right? There is this fourth aspect called Adhikara, right? That is the attitude of the devotee, okay? The enthusiasm in Nectar of Instruction, we have always hear Utsaha Dhairya, right? Utsaha, what is that Utsaha? The enthusiasm is that endeavor which we do with intelligence given by Krishna in Krishna consciousness. If we do that endeavor, with enthusiasm and we try to empower other people, empower Krishna consciousness without seeing their negatives, without seeing their faults, only see their good intentions, then definitely we can also slowly and steadily start seeing this Adbhuta Karmana. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Uh, Prabhujis and Matajis, please forgive me if I have spoken anything beyond my realization. I was just trying to say a few lines which I understood. It entirely applies for me also. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Veda Mataji. Veda Mataji, would like to do any translation or shall we go ahead?
However, it's okay, Prabhu. 2 lines, I'll just tell Prabhu, with your permission. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Like today's class, ಇವತ್ತಿನ class ತುಂಬಾ ಅದ್ಭುತವಾಗಿತ್ತು ಪ್ರಭು. Relating to the material life and the spiritual this one. 2 lines I would like to share for the better understanding for Kannada devotees. So ಈ ಒಂದು ಶ್ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಭುಗಳು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳಿದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 2.4.8 ಭಗವಂತ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಯಾವತ್ತೇ ಆಗ್ಲಿ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಸುಸ್ತು ಅನ್ನೋದಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಒಂದು ಕ್ರೀಡಾಪಟು ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಎಂಥೂಸಿಯಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ ಆಟ ಆಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾನೋ ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಕೃಷ್ಣನು ಸಹ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಅವನು ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಭಗವಂತ ಒಂದು ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ ತರ ಹೇಗೆ ಅವರು ಬೇರೆ ಇತರ ದೇವತೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಂಪವರ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ದ ಲಾರ್ಡ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಭಗವದ್ಗೀತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಮಾತು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ದೋಸ್ ಹೂ ವರ್ಷಿಪ್ ಡೆಮಿಗಾಡ್ಸ್, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾರು ಇತರ ದೇವತೆಗಳನ್ನ ಪೂಜೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೋ ಅವರು ಆ ಒಂದು ಇತರ ದೇವತೆಗಳ ಲೋಕಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾರು ಭಗವಂತನ ದೇವೋತ್ತಮ ಪರಮ ಪುರುಷನ ಪೂಜೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೋ ಅವರು ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಲೋಕಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಯಾರನ್ನ ನಾವು ಪೂಜಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಭಗವಂತನ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಪರೀಕ್ಷಿತ್ ಮಹಾರಾಜರಿಗೆ ಭಗವಂತ ಅವರ ಲೀಲೆಗಳಿಗಿಂತ ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂತ ಉತ್ಸಾಹ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇತ್ತು. ಸೊ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅವರು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಎನ್ಕ್ವೈರಿನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಸುಖದೇವ್ ಗೋಸ್ವಾಮಿಗಳ ಹತ್ರ. ಈ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿನ ಹೇಗೆ ಲೈಕ್ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಇನ್ಯೂಮರಬಲ್ ಅನ್ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಸ್, ಅನ್ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಪ್ಲಾನೆಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಸಾಸಿವೆ ಕಾಳು ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದು ಬ್ಯಾಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಸಾಸಿವೆ ಕಾಳು ಅದನ್ನ ಎಣ್ಸಕ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ತಾನೆ, ಅದೇ ರೀತಿನೇ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿಕರ್ತನ ಒಂದು ಸೃಷ್ಟಿನೂ ಸಹ ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಸೊ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ನಮಗೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಇಚ್ಛೆ ಡಿಸೈರ್ ಅಂತ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಭಗವಂತ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ನಮಗೆ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ತುಂಬಾ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಏಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಭಕ್ತಿ ತೀರ್ಥ ಮಹಾರಾಜರು ಒಂದ್ಸತಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಇಚ್ಛೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಶ್ರೀಮದ್ ಭಾಗವತಂನ ಲೈಬ್ರರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಆ ಒಂದು ಇಚ್ಛೆ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ಯಾಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ತುಂಬಾ ಬೇಜಾರಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅವಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇದ್ದಂತ ವಾಶ್ರೂಮ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬರೋಣ ಅಂತ ಹೋದಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಯ ಪರಿಚಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇದೇ ರೀತಿ ಅವರು ಏನ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಇವತ್ತು ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ತಾನೆ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಅಂದಾಗ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಂತೆ ಭಕ್ತಿ ತೀರ್ಥ ಮಹಾರಾಜರು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಭಾಗವತಂ ಸೆಟ್ ನ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಬಂದಿದ್ವಿ ಅಂತ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಡಿಸೈರ್ ನೋಡಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಆ ವಾಶ್ರೂಮ್ ಯಾರು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಒಂದ್ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಅವರು ಸಹ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಕೆಲಸನೋ ಫೈಲ್ ಏನೋ ಮರ್ತಿದ್ರು ಅನ್ನೋ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು ರಜಾ ಇದ್ರು ಸಹ ಆ ಒಂದು ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿಗೆ ವಿಸಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅವರೇ ಯಾರನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತ ಪಂಡಿತ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಮೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ರು ಅದೇ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿನೇ ಆ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಒಂದು ದೇವರ ಒಂದು ಕೃಪೆಯಿಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಒಂದು ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಭಾಗವತಂ ಸೆಟ್ ನ ಇರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಅವಕಾಶ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ರೀತಿ ಪ್ರಭುಗಳು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಯಾವಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಉತ್ಸಾಹ ಮತ್ತು ಧೈರ್ಯ ಇರುತ್ತೋ ಭಗವಂತನ ಒಂದು ಇಂಟೆಲಿಜೆನ್ಸ್, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರುವಂತ ಇಂಟೆಲಿಜೆನ್ಸ್ ನ ನಾವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಈ ಒಂದು ಲೈಕ್ ಕಾರ್ಯನ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ರು. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ಸೊ ಮೆನಿ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್, ಬಟ್ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಫ್ಯೂ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಐ
Brilliant.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
ಬೇರೆ ಯಾರಿಗಾದ್ರೂ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಸೇರಿಸ್ಬೇಕಾ? I mean, somebody else wants to add any point or?
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Vrajanath Prabhu, for your nice class.
Thank you, Prabhu.
So you have nicely explained, nobody can able to understand 100% of Lord's inconceivable Leelas. That's why he is called Bhagavan. If we come to know 100% who the Lord, what the Lord, his activities and his Leelas, then he may not be Bhagavan. So Bhagavan should be a Bhagavan. So sometimes, we also uh, have some jealous or rebellion mentality. So in the spiritual world, we thought, why Lord is only should be Bhagavan? I also should be Bhagavan for some time. And the thought may come to us, and that is the reason. The rebellion mentality is the reason, one of the reasons for our coming back to this material world. Anyway, you have also nicely explained that we don't have to do any research, which the Lord has already given to us. Since we do not know about the Lord, Lord says through Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, and through Bhagavatam, and through the Acharyas, he says so many secrets are revealed. So he says, Jalajana Valakshani, Pakshinam Dasalakshanam. The 10 lakhs of 10 lakhs types of birds are there. But who is going to find out the 10 lakhs types of birds? So for one ornithologian, so he will go to a forest and he will find one particular bird or some sect of birds, and he is given a Nobel Prize or something. So this is an absolutely foolish thing. So in Lord through Vedas, he mentioned that there are 10 lakhs of birds, 4 lakhs of human beings. Then Jalajana Valakshani, 9 lakhs of types of aquatics are there. We don't have to do any research. Simply follow the Lord's instructions. Yeah, Prabhu, you also nicely explained the various pastimes of the Lord. It's very interesting. Thank you. So I just like to add one point. So though we may not know about the inconceivable potency of the Lord, but if we can able to understand to some extent a degree of small portion, then Lord says, 4.9, Janma karma chame divyam evam vo vetti tattvattaha. Tvekta punarjanma naiti mameti. So Arjuna. Small portion, if any person can able to understand, then what happens to him? Tvekta deham. And after quitting his body, punarjanmana vidyate. He will not take birth again in this material world. He will go to the spiritual world. So this is what I would like to mention. So thank you, Prabhu. Over to you to complete the session. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. That's such a reassuring verse from the Bhagavad Gita for all of us. Thank you, Prabhu, for pointing that. Yes. So if anybody's got last 1 minute, and otherwise we can go on to the next part of the program, which is the morning announcements, wishing each other. I know I saw one message, Subramani Prabhu's birthday, but yeah, anybody else? Any
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Dhanlakshmi Mataji, solungo.
Yes. Very nice session, Prabhuji. What I got from today's classes, like in this material, we have very limited knowledge, and but most of them are trying to understand and explore this material things in this years after years. But instead, they need to know all these are inconceivable qualities of the Lord, and we just have only advantage that we can take in Kali Yuga is to chant and take the shelter of holy name to get out of the circle of birth and death, sir.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And you gave us many examples. Thank you, Prabhu.
Absolutely. We all can see the magic. We also can feel the Buddha. Yes. Thank you. Any other announcements? ಬೇರೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಏನಾದರೂ points ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ announcements?
Yeah. So we are preparing for the Purushottammas.
Yes.
So this Sunday it's going to start. So from our Radha Gopinath circle, we are planning a 30 days evening program. So we will be inviting all senior Vaishnavas. So all the devotees gear up, and you can also check out your own plans. Especially the initiated shelter devotees, they can try to connect as many souls as possible. You can do your own programs. You can take bookings from schools, colleges, or various houses in the nearby, so that you can get contacts for your Bhakti Vriksha. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, this will be a combination of Kannada, Telugu, all of them will feel.
Yes. At least 3 languages we will.
Yeah.
English is common. Kannada, Telugu
and
will be there. I don't know Tamil.
So, and this will be a program of Krishna Ratri, right? So basically
Same Krishna
sandwiching
Ratri program.
So
yeah, we will change the group name Krishna Ratri to Purushottam Mantra.
Purushottam Ratri.
So we will go like that. But however, senior devotees, those who are sheltered, initiated, they can have their own programs. They can go
Also.
out and distribute books and have actually house programs or apartment programs. If you can have, you can surely get so many contacts.
Thank you, Prabhu.
So then
Because
you can
making new people to chant is very, very nice. Sure, Prabhu. So what a month we are going to have sandwich. That means morning and evening sandwich by our programs, and then have a wonderful day. Thank you, Prabhu. This is always nice. This actually, because of this also many people might join. Yes, last Sunday, I mean, I could not introduce you. I had two Telugu boys, Prabhu, and I was so happy because they were boys. I wanted to introduce. I had to rush back because of some, we can't maintain one small house. Painter and few people had come. So those boys, I have already luckily got. I had bought Bhagavad Gita. They came all the way to my house and they took the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhu. So which means they want to join in. I told them there is something waiting. So I'll introduce you to the one of the Telugu groups so that they can continue. I found their English very difficult. So like this, we can start doing this. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. So
Yes.
if all the preachers can nicely explain the Purushottama Mahatya, then that will really enlighten them. And
There's
they
a
will be
small
very
book
interested.
there is a small book in Sheshadripuram, Prabhu. I got one copy. I don't know whether someone can make some arrangement, whoever is going
They will
by.
try. We will try to fetch
Even
it.
if few books.
You announce this. So Parabhakti has got one announcement.
Yes, Mataji.